Good morning, Needham High School, and welcome to NHSN. My name is Thomas, here to give you the latest in Needham news. As a senior, I am right now completely consumed by the chaos known as trying to get into college. In the midst of this mayhem, it is easy to forget that you have the option of taking a break from the typical path of education in order to pursue something else that interests you. After 4 arduous years of high school, the prospect of a gap year is certainly something that appeals to many of us. Yet, it's not always easy to figure out how to go about a gap year. Thankfully, there will be a gap year panel on Friday, December 23rd from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. in the Media Center for juniors and seniors considering a gap year. Panelists at the meeting will include students from the class of 2011 who will talk about why they chose to take a gap year and how this choice has influenced their future. Classmates, as winter rages on, so do the Rockets. Let's check in with Sarah for an update on winter sports.
Thanks, Thomas, and welcome to sports. Last week, the boys' swim team kicked off their season winning both of their meets against Cambridge and Newton South. Captain Nathaniel Smith qualified for sectionals in the 200-yard freestyle, along with fellow senior Ryan Schott, who qualified in the 100-yard backstroke. The boys' basketball team also came away with a 2-0 start to their season, beating both Lexington and Dedham. They played very well, and we look forward to a successful season from the team. The wrestling team finished second out of 16 teams this weekend at the Wayland tournament. Cam Chisholm placed second, and Mike Kibkin placed first in their respective weight classes. We talked to Mr. Hauben about being safe and preventing injury in the winter season.
I think for us, injuries are something that is just a part of any athletic program. I wouldn't say there's any common injuries. I would say there's always the chance for an injury, no matter what sport we're playing. So the very first thing, if there's any type of injury situation or something that just doesn't feel right, we always ask the students to check in with the trainers, and they will evaluate and help recommend what the next steps are. If it's something that's a more acute type injury or something that comes up at a practice or at an away game that the trainer may not be available for, and they do need to see a doctor, then the protocol is anytime that student athlete sees an outside physician for any injury, that student athlete, then we need to make sure we get a clearance note from that doctor, which clears the student to be seen and evaluated again by our training room staff, who then has the final authority to clear that student athlete for returning to participation. We think it's been a smooth transition from fall to winter, and we're looking forward to some great performances, some great team accomplishments, and to another strong season with good school spirit and good school support. And as we move through the holidays and get in the new year, very excited for that.
Lastly, congratulations to senior Mark Riley for receiving an All-Scholastic Award for his amazing football performance. Also, congratulations to Coach Duffy for receiving a Coach of the Year award for Division I. And lastly, congratulations to junior Max Steve for his incredible soccer performance. That's all for sports this week. Back to you, Thomas.
Thanks, Sarah. Speaking of sports, there are a few winter clubs and sports at Needham High School which have yet to get started, and which you may not have heard of. For example, rugby and cross-country skiing are just starting up. Regrettably, by the time of this broadcast, the informational meetings for these clubs will have already happened, but students interested in rugby should contact Ms. Parkhurst, and those interested in cross-country skiing should send email to this address right here. It's probably not too late to sign up. I have one last club announcement, and while this may seem like shameless self-promotion, Needham High School will be having, for the first time, a competitive winter drumline team, led by fantastic Needham High School drum instructor, Paul Garrissey. If you fancy yourself a drummer, the drumline is something you should certainly consider. We look to form an impressive line which will compete at drumline competitions and serve as pump-up at Needham sporting events. So if you play drums or mallets and are interested in drumline, contact me at trcallgrove@gmail.com. Classmates, today we'd like to give you a closer look at a seasoned veteran of Needham High School. Mr. Johan is one of the school's most experienced staff and has served as an incredible coach and teacher for many years. We sat down with him to talk about some of his greatest experiences at the high school.
My teaching experience goes back a long way, Andrew. I just say that. I started in 1970, almost over 40 years ago. Well, a teacher, obviously teacher, coach. I was an assistant dean, which is like an assistant principal for a couple of years, and then I was the athletic director for my final 7 years before retiring. I've coached, obviously football. I did indoor and outdoor track. I have to say that in my opinion, I think the kids have become a lot more I think I don't know really what the best way to describe them, but they seem more, in some ways, more mature, more have a lot better communication skills than they did back in the in the early '70s. I think what I've seen, of course, is the teaching staff has changed, quite a bit. Right now the only people left from when I was when I was a young teacher, which was quite a while ago. Coach Freitas and I started together. We started the same year. Coach Lockhart, I think, came in, or Mr. Lockhart came in a couple of years after me. And that's about it. There aren't, Mr. Ash was here, and there are a few other teachers that have been around a few years, but not many. So the staff has gotten a lot younger, and I think we've seen that, and they seem younger every day, actually.
Thanks, guys. Last, it has come to my attention that, in spite of scouring school bulletins for leads on stories, there's some things that pass under the radar. If you have a story which you would like to be featured on the news, please email us at needhamnews@yahoo.com. That's all the news we have for you this week. So to all my classmates, good luck and Merry Christmas /Hanukkah/Kwanzaa/Solstice/Festivus, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays.